Walker, that all-everything running back for Syracuse. They shut him down. So, again, a complete performance out of Louisville last week. Looking to get to 6-5 on the season. Duke trying to get some momentum as they head into the final 2 games of their year. Tyler Harrell deep to receive for Louisville. Charlie Ham going to kick it off for the Blue Devils. We are underway, a little ACC football on a Thursday night here on ESPN. Harrell's going to bring it out, and why not? They have confidence in their offense to get it going. The kick takes it out to the 15-yard line. And you talked about him, the defense, and how good he is as a running quarterback.
He's fantastic, especially when they get him down close to the red zone. You're going to see a lot of zone read. But not only will you see that, you'll see play action with a naked boot off of it, where you get Malik Cunningham out in space. This Duke defense has struggled, particularly when it comes to stopping the run. They've got a big task on their hands, maybe the biggest of the season, stopping Malik Cunningham.
In the open, we showed that he's second in FBS in rushing touchdowns, but that's 16 good enough for tops against quarterbacks in the country. So 1st and 10, ball spotted at the 15. First down to give to Jalen Mitchell, got it going last week. He's going to be taken out after a gain of 5. Forced out of bounds by Darian Mausi.
That play is a play that you're going to see over and over and over for Louisville. It's outside zone, that stretch zone play. That's the staple of any Scott Satterfield offense. You may see that play. If they run 80 plays, you may see that 20 times today, because everything in this offense is built off that.
Are you willing to chart the amount of times they run it?
I'm not.
Okay. 2nd and 5. Cunningham to take a shot. Has a receiver. Incomplete, intended for Tyler Harrell. He's come on of late. He's worked really hard to get to where he is. They like where Tyler Harrell is as a player.
He certainly is. He reportedly ran a 4.1940 at some point in time. And that's another thing that you're going to see all day. Duke is a man team. They are a single high man football team. So guys like Leonard Johnson, who's on coverage there, are going to have to cover one-on-one down the field to get some speedy receivers.
Here's a good opportunity for Duke. Defense to get off the field. First possession for the Cardinals. Cunningham again to throw. Has a player wide open. And that's going to be a first down. Caught by Jalen Mitchell. Gain of 17.
Well, Duke brings an all-out blitz, Matt, but nobody picks up the running back on a wheel out of the backfield. It's man-to-man on the back end. You see Mitchell going towards the right side of your screen. He's wide open. Better throw, and he might still be running, but it's a good job of Malik Cunningham just getting the ball out of his hands. There was a free hitter coming to him, and they get the first down.
Free hitter Shaka Hayward was the man applying the pressure, but he read it properly, found the running back out of the backfield. A big play and a first down. Duke showing some outside pressure again. They bring it, the run, ball dropped, still loose. And a pile of humans trying to figure out who's going to hop on that. And spotted for Louisville's ball. So bringing up a second down.
It's the second time Louisville has run this outside zone play, and the second time that Duke has had a blitz to come into the side that they're running it to. See, Jalen Mitchell just never really had a good handle on it.
Well, when he tried to put the second hand on it, he actually knocked it loose.
Yeah, and he kind of hits his own the back of his own player. Louisville fortunate there.
Loss of 4. Mitchell recovered his own fumble. 2nd and 14. Here's Cunningham, the pitch outside, and a good job by Duke's defense recognizing that's Leonard Johnson with the tackle after a gain of 1.
It's just triple option football. Malik Cunningham reads it, gets it on the perimeter, pitches it out, and it's a good job of Leonard Johnson defeating the block and making a tackle on the perimeter. Now, this may be a Duke football team that struggled this season, but David Cutcliffe told us there's been no quitting early on in this game. We have seen this defense is flying around.
It was Shy Wirtz, Georgia Southern transfer, played quarterback for Georgia Southern in his prior stop, getting the option pitch there. So another 3rd and long, 3rd and 13. Haven't seen Marshon Ford yet in the ball game and contributing. Pressure again. Cunningham has to throw it quickly. Mitchell out in the backfield, makes a couple of men miss, and Mitchell, what an effort on 3rd and 13. Hayward brings him down. gain of 12. So an early decision here for Satterfield and Louisville on a 4th and 1.
Well, Duke once again dials up a blitz. It's able to get a free hitter to Malik Cunningham. Shaka Hayward coming off the edge. He does a nice job of dumping it out, and they're going for it.
Cunningham keeps, makes a move, has space. Here goes Malik Cunningham on a 4th and 1. That's going to be a gain of 20. Is Josh Blackwell the touchdown-saving tackle on the electric quarterback?
Well, it's a zone read. He pulls it, and it's he and Isaiah Fisher-Smith in the open field on 4th down, and Malik Cunningham wins that one 10 times out of 10. He's able to get up the field for a big gain.
He accounts for 68% of Louisville's offensive production. Can't stop him. It's going to be a long night, and that's Cooley in the backfield. Travion Cooley, first time we've called his name, the freshman who's been gaining a little bit of confidence for Louisville as they've integrated him in.
He certainly has, and you know, sometimes these guys get more opportunities because of attrition. And Hassan Hall, who was a contributing player for him at the running back position, decided to enter the portal a few weeks ago. Travion Cooley had been getting reps before that, but his workload certainly has increased since Hall decided to jump in the portal.
Duke again showing pressure. Duke again bringing pressure. Cunningham tries to take advantage to the end zone, incomplete. That intended for Jordan Watkins. Put the flag on the play, first flag of the game.
Scott Satterfield's fired up over there on that Louisville sideline.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 70. The down will count, 15-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's Riley Johnson, our official tonight. And that's the kind of penalty that'll make your head coach angry.
It absolutely will. After the play, ball was well gone, and Trevor Reed just gives a shove to the defensive lineman. Set up a 3rd and forever.
Coming into this game, Coach Satterfield told us we got to be better at 3rd and short. We're pretty good at 3rd and long. This qualifies as 3rd and really, really long.
Right.
They've already converted on a 4th down to the 3rd and long. They went for it on 3rd and 13 and got it short and went for it on 4th and 1. Cunningham forced out of the pocket, back across his body, has Cooley. Cooley has space. Cooley's going to have the 1st down and more. Touchdown, Louisville. 48-yard touchdown on 3rd and 24. Travion Cooley strikes first for Louisville, breaking through the tackle of Isaiah Fisher-Smith. And what a start for the Cardinals.
Well, watch Cooley out of the backfield. He's man-to-man with Shaka Hayward, who just loses track of him. And it's Cooley in the open field with Isaiah Fisher-Smith. Just outruns him. Little stiff arm to the face. You get a nice block on the edge, and he's able to get in the end zone on a 3rd and 23.
You talk about a player taking advantage of yards in a touchdown in their first possession of the game. That's where we bring out the Blue Devils offense. Gunnar Holmberg returning from injury. As you heard Quint say early on, that we're going to see 3 quarterbacks, but we see the starter for the season, Gunnar, come out first.
Got banged up in the Pitt game a few weeks ago and missed last week's game against Virginia Tech. This offense really struggled without him. They had no downfield passing game. Hopefully, with his return, they'll have some more of that.
You know what they will have? A steady diet of Mateo Durant as Gunnar on his first possession of Bobo, his favorite receiver. That's Jake Bobo. That's the chemistry between those two in a good first play. Gain of 13 and a 1st down for Duke.
And look, Mateo Durant's going to be a heavy piece of this offense, but I like them coming out throwing the ball early. Make Louisville respect the passing game to loosen up the box for Mateo.
Apparently they didn't get back in time. That'll be offsides on the defense. Oh, they caught a false start.
Number 5, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
So Matt, you had a couple of players for Louisville jumping in the neutral zone, but the two receivers to the top of the screen both flinched.
So Jalen Calhoun's the one.
Yeah, it's Jalen Calhoun. Well, he wasn't the only one either.
So 1st and 15. Gunner again over the middle to Bobo. And another first down. 2 passes to Bobo, 2 first downs. That would have gained us 16.
This is a good throw by Gunnar Holmberg. You're going to see Kendrick Duncan, the safety, come under that. That ball thrown high where only Bobo could get it.
There's Mateo Durant for the first time tonight off the left side and a gain of 2. Again, Durant chasing a couple things tonight. 141 yards from a single season record in rushing yards for Duke. 25 yards away from becoming all-time top 5 rusher.
Came up a little gimpy after that play, too.
Bobo in motion. The give to Durant. Tackled immediately, no gain. Brought down to the play by Jadarian Boykin.
See Mateo Durant kind of limping off the field. That would be it's one of those where if he's hampered, it's a tough blow for the Duke offense. This guy's been banged up probably more than he's let on this season.
And it's no stretch of the conversation to say that he's been Duke's offense.
Yeah.
He and Bobo. So that's some production we're going to have to keep an eye on. 3rd and 8 for Holmberg. First possession back. That to Calhoun. And a good individual effort out of Jalen Calhoun. Gain of 11. Duke's offense looking good.
It's a good delivery by Gunnar Holmberg. And again, the experience of the quarterback comes in big. As you see Mateo Durant limping with the athletic trainers, favoring one of those legs. But the big conversion for Duke.
Coaches told us with Holmberg it was an upper body injury to his left side. And he's come out tonight looking sharp, throwing a good ball up top. Flag on the play. Grady Vance. I'll let you do the play on words there, Roddy.
This is the low-hanging fruit there.
It is.
But he did get a little
Pass
greedy there.
interference.
Okay.
Defense. Number 21. That's an automatic first down.
Louisville is going to want to stop the run first and foremost, so you're going to get a lot of press man on the outside. The grab on the shoulder pads, I think, is what's going to draw the foul there.
So first down, ball at the 26. Duke moving the ball. Holmberg over the middle to Calhoun. And they take it inside the 10-yard line. Quinterio Cole on the tackle. And how about Duke, gain of 19?
One-on-one with the safety, and you go to Jalen Calhoun. And look, Duke has been able to move the ball early in games. They've moved the ball on a number of first drives during this season. They have to put the ball in the end zone. New quarterback with Jordan Moore there now.
Jordan Moore, the runner of the two. He's the athlete. You see it here. Moore trying to find some space. He's going to take it inside the 5, spotted at the 3. And Moore, regardless of health of Gunnar Holmberg, he's a player that we see week in and week out for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, and his role has only expanded this season as he's gotten more comfortable. But for Duke, I did a game a few weeks ago where against Pittsburgh, they drive the ball down, get to the 1-yard line, and then they have a fumble. They've kind of been snake-bitten inside the 10. Just going to look at Gunnar Holmberg back there.
How many Duke games have you done this year?
Oh, it seems like all of them. But if you want a real count, I believe this is my 5th.
Coleman in the backfield. Remember, Durant went out earlier in the possession. 2nd and goal. Coleman trying to get to the end zone, and a host of Cardinals there to grab him after a quick gain of 1. Raymond Puryear led the way, so it's going to bring up 3rd and goal.
It's a nice play up front. Just beating the block by Puryear. Now if you're Duke, what do you go to? Obviously, Jake Bobo is always a big target, physical guy in the red zone. Here's where the tight end comes in big, or has come in big in the past for Duke as well. Jake Marweedy in the game. He's in the slot to the bottom. You've got both Bobo here and Marweedy right here.
9th play of the drive. 3rd and goal. Holmberg to the end zone. It is batted down. And a good defensive play there by Kendrick Duncan. He's a player that they've said continues to improve every single game.
Yeah, he's a guy that came in to help him out from Georgia Southern, and they go to Marweedy. Duncan able to make the play. They had to bring in 2 transfer safeties, Kendrick Duncan and Quinterio Cole. Both of them been very impressive for Louisville this year.
You surprised they're not going for it?
I am not, because it's kind of the identity of this Duke team. Take points where you can get them.
But Charlie Hamm's going to try that with a 22-yard field goal spot. Louisville.
Every time I eat stuffed crust from
ESPN Thursday Night College Football is brought to you by Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut. Order today for
the number that took on Syracuse. Look at those numbers. One of the most electric players we've seen in college football.
And the NFL, for that matter. And I'd like to give a shout out to Vince Tyree, the athletic director for Louisville, and his team for doing that the right way. You could tell it meant something to Lamar.
Absolutely.
And celebrating a career that is absolutely worth celebrating. They're going to build a statue to him.
It's one of my favorite things about an MVP winner has the Ravens playing great football. They played on Thursday night last week, which is why they were able to do that ceremony on Saturday. So Malik Cunningham in front of Lamar Jackson, accounted for 5 touchdowns a week ago. He's already thrown a touchdown pass tonight, opening possession touchdown for the Cardinals.
He was fantastic on that drive. Not only his ability, look at that, how about that? First 3rd and 20+ completion conversion since 2018. But I thought Malik Cunningham's ability to manage Duke's blitzes and get the ball out was probably the best thing he did on that drive.
That graphic we showed you, converted on 3rd and 24, good enough for the touchdown. And right away, Amari Huggins-Bruce continues the chunk play yardage for Louisville. Jalen Stinson takes him out of bounds after a gain of 13.
They got the blocking out front. You got Marshon Ford and then Travion Cooley, I believe, out front. May have been Jalen Mitchell out of the backfield. No, it was Cooley out there throwing blocks. Got to give credit where credit is due when those running backs block, Matt. They got to do it all.
Yeah, you guys are the first to point it out.
Oh, yeah.
1st and 10, Cunningham's going to keep it, gets to the corner, and there is space for Malik Cunningham. Gain of 17.
Well, Duke slanting the defensive line, which puts Shaka Hayward on Malik Cunningham. He gets a little too far inside, and then Cunningham's speed is always going to be able to take advantage of acres of space on the outside. 2 chunk plays for Louisville to start this drive.
A gain of 13 and a gain of 17. And this Cardinals offense is off and running again.
It's exactly very similar to how they started the game last week from a conversion chunk play standpoint.
And Syracuse went down, scored a field goal, kicked the field goal, didn't score again. Cunningham taking a shot, has a receiver, dropped. Tyler Harrell lost his footing, wouldn't have been a touchdown, but it certainly would have been 1st and goal inside the 5.
Well, it's a great route by Tyler Harrell, and I think Malik Cunningham just wants to get the completion. This is a ball that you got to bring in. And honestly, you got to bring in for a touchdown. You're wide open, your quarterback delivers it to you. But the little bit of a slip from Harrell, ball's dropped, and Louisville's playing 2nd and 10.
And so Daquan Johnson got away with one.
Yeah.
He was the defender that Harrell beat. 2nd and 10. And a good job by the Duke defense to corral Cooley. Aaron Hall and a loss of 1.
All right, you're going to get Hall coming off the edge right here. Again, Duke slanting the front. He's able to close down and bring down the running back in the backfield. It's a nice job by the defensive end.
Blitz coming. Offensive line stands up after the defender clearly went to the neutral zone. Matt Austin, our rules official, is with us tonight. What happens in that situation, Matt?
Well, this is going to be interesting because the offense didn't actually react to him coming in. They created a second act by pointing at him and standing up. So I would not be surprised if this is a false start on the offense.
False start.
There you go.
On the offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
It's the best, man. On top of it. Scott Satterfield saying he's in the neutral zone, and I'm with Matt.
But you got to react as a football player.
Right. Those guys just stood up and started saying, no, it was him. And then you've got the guard starting to creep. So I think it was Adonis Boone starting to walk towards him while doing. You can't do that.
That was an organized false start. 3rd and 16. Cunningham time. Floats it over the middle too high. Intended for Marshon Ford. And after what could have been a touchdown for Louisville, the Duke defense is able to get them off the field.
You got to give credit to Duke on defense. You dodged a bullet there with the drop by Tyler Harrell down the field. And then you're able to, like you said, get off the field. Now, they needed a little bit of help from Louisville because Marshon Ford is open on that play, too. But still, you're able to force a 3rd and long and then eventually get off the field.
Mark the set, the punt. Josh Blackwell deep to receive it. It's blocked. So the Duke defense makes a play, and then the special teams comes through for the Blue Devils, Isaiah Fisher-Smith. And how about Duke? Trying to get something going here in the first quarter. What a quick swing for them. Holmberg and the Blue Devils with the ball when we come back.
And it's NBA on ESPN.
Duke on their second drive. Holmberg the play fake. Looking to take a shot. Defense is there, and he is lucky that didn't get picked off.
They were trying to sneak Jake Marweedy, the tight end, coming from the top of the screen. They're trying to sneak him back across the formation. Just can't get back to him. There's not enough time for Gunnar Holmberg on the throwback, but Duke taking a shot after the turnover, after the quick play.
Yeah, quick change. You'd think they'd take a shot. They did. 2nd and 10. Quick throw outside to Calhoun. And a good open field tackle by Quinterio Cole and a loss of 2.
How big would it be for this Louisville defense after the block punt? Great field position for Duke. They can force a 3 and out. You flip the field position, but at least you don't allow any points. Looks like you're going to get man-to-man. You may get a blitz off the edge here, too.
There's the blitz. Holmberg has to get rid of it. It's intercepted. Marvin Dallas down the sideline, and Louisville's defense responds. How about Dallas in the defense? Blocked punt. Duke tries to take advantage, and the Cardinals grab the ball right back.
Well, Matt, it looks like man-to-man across the board, and when you've got 2 players lined up over the same receiver, you know one of them's coming, and so you get the blitz off the edge. It puts the tackle in a tough position. He's got to pick one. He actually lets both of them go. Gunnar Holmberg has to throw the ball as quick as he can, and it ends up in the hands of a Louisville defender. But there's 2 things going on there. One, you're going to get a free rusher off the edge no matter what. Gunnar Holmberg has to know where he's going with the football. But 2, you let the inside guy go too, and it forces Holmberg into a quicker decision than he wants.
Let's see what Malik Cunningham can do now with good field position. Looks like they're going to take a shot. Cunningham downfield, has a receiver, and it's overthrown. Let's go down to Quint Kesnick. Quint?
That interception did not go over well on the Duke sideline, where David Cutcliffe, who's a quarterback whisperer, came over to Holmberg on the sideline and shook his head like, you can't throw the ball into nothingness. He basically just threw that one blindly into coverage. Nothing good's going to happen in that scenario.
Exactly right, Quint. And the rush came so quick, he just kind of threw it up and hoped.
And this defense continues to live dangerously. Second time we've seen a Louisville receiver wide open. Second time they couldn't complete the pass, bringing up a 3rd down. That was Jalen Mitchell in a gain of 8.
And that was what was off at the beginning of the year for Louisville. They weren't really hitting their deep shots down the field. Talked about it in the open. Some of that was the accuracy of Malik Cunningham, which has been vastly improved over the course of this season. But if I'm Duke, I'm terrified because if Malik Cunningham just starts hitting guys consistently, they could have 3 touchdowns on the board already.
So Trevion Cooley back in the backfield.
And if they start catching him on the back end, too. I mean,
there you go. The first one wasn't on a quarterback.
Right, exactly.
Let's stick up for the receiver there for a minute. Or stick up for the quarterback there for a minute. Tyler Harrell dropped that one. So 3rd and 3. Pressure. Complete. And a first down. That's Marshon Ford. He does just a little bit of everything for this offense. To the gain of 14, Tony Davis brings him down.
This is so good by Malik Cunningham. Just giving ground as the blitz is coming. He floats back, gives himself more and more time for Marshon Ford to come open, delivers the football accurately, takes the hit. But his ability not to avoid the rush, but just to fade away from the rush, deliver an accurate ball is great for him on a 3rd down.
And a good responsible tackle on a Jalen Alexander on the quarterback. You got to point that out when it happens nowadays in college football. Cunningham to fake. He's going to throw it back. There's a man wide open. 6. Count it. Touchdown, Cardinals. Marshon Ford, 20 yards in that time with the player wide open. Louisville executes. We're an extra point away from 14-3.
It's basketball season, Matt, so what do you say? Hit your layups. I mean, this is as wide open as it gets. You got a tight end, that drag wheel up the opposite edge, up the opposite sideline. Marshon Ford wide open right by the pylon. It's as easy as it gets.
4 plays, 41 yards off the interception from Marvin Dallas. An extra point attempt is good. It is 14-3 Louisville. Let's break down that last play with tonight's playbook, brought to you by Hotels.com.
All right, so let's talk about this. You're going to get a post from this receiver clearing out that side, and then you just get a little drag wheel for Marshon Ford. Daquan Johnson's the guy that's supposed to have him, but let's roll it, guys. Watch what Johnson does. You get the motion across the formation. His eyes are in the backfield. Marshon Ford wide open. He reacts late. And this is easy pitch and catch for Malik Cunningham and Marshon Ford.
You mentioned how eerily similar this was to last week's game in Syracuse. Syracuse took the ball right down the field, kicked that opening drive field goal. They never saw any more points as Louisville just continued to score.
Yeah. This Louisville offense is exciting to watch when it's clicking. And while they have not been on completely with their deep shots today, the ability of them to convert on 3rd downs has been really the story of the game so far.
Are we not naming the Roddy's Rewind? Is it Untitled now? Did you lose the title?
We have the sponsor there.
What did you do?
All right. Well, have you seen me work the remote?
I thought it was good. So Jalen Stinson's going to receive the kick, take it across the 25. It's a return of 25. Brought down to the play by Dwayne Martin. Let's go down to Quint.
Yeah, Holmberg gets this series back. We were wondering if they were going to put in one of the young freshmen. Mateo Durant was in for that last series at running back. He is not in right now. Ankle injury. This is a guy who's had over 220 carries this year. You're starting to see the wear and tear late in the season.
Yeah, Quint, he went into the medical tent, got some tape on the ankle, came out. Dangerous throw out of Holmberg. Greedy Vance was right there.
It's like Gunnar Holmberg decided where he was going to go with the ball pre-snap, and no matter what, he was going to throw it, because Greedy Vance is just sitting on that 5-yard stop. He undercuts the route. Holmberg's fortunate that didn't get picked off.
Under a minute here in the first quarter. Holmberg again across the middle. That's caught by Eli Panthol. Vance brings him down after a gain of 6. Tell you what, we get an all-name team name every week.
Absolutely.
Greedy's is up there.
Greedy Vance.
Servassier we had last week.
Especially for a corner. You want corners to be a little greedy.
Servassier Dennett, what a player.
Great name. Yeah, great player.
3rd and 4. Pressure. Back foot throw. And a good job by 22. That's Yasir Abdullah.
Louisville does a nice job of passing this off, and Abdullah comes through, knocks the ball down. It's a nice play by him. Gunnar Holmberg actually does a decent job. Like I said, Malik Cunningham fading away from the pressure, but there's nobody open for Duke. A lot of short crossing routes. Louisville's been able to sit on it. Duke's going to have to push the ball down the field some.
This defense coming off a game when they gave up 184 total yards to Syracuse. And that's a Syracuse with a talented Sean Tucker at running back. That's a good punt. Keeps getting better. It's going to roll to the 7-yard line. Punt of 57.
Tell you what, man, special teams coming to play for Duke. Get a block punt on one side, great punt on the other, great kickoff coverage to start the game.
Don't you threaten me with a good time.
Oh, man, we're talking some specialists today for the brand.
Scott Satterfield, it's fun talking with him this week about where this program is and where he thinks it can go. And he was very honest with us, said, look, it's just, what we saw last week was very good.
Yeah.
But that's what we can be all of the time, and that sometimes is where the frustration comes in.
Yeah, you want the consistency from this team. And I think the thing that you're proud of with this football team is they've grown over the course of this season from that opening day loss to Ole Miss.
So ball spotted at the 7. Cunningham's going to run, has some blocks, and a gain of 13, perhaps a hold. Not called there as we come to the end of the first quarter. So it was all Louisville. 182 total yards of offense. Big plays from Malik Cunningham. We saw Trevion Cooley get in the end zone, and Marshon Ford added to it. ACC football on a Thursday night.
Welcome to Allstate, where we have
Cunningham, 176 total yards in the first quarter. They have 185 total yards. I don't know what percentage of the offense that is.
A lot.
I don't do the math, but it's good. Start of the second quarter, physical run there to Trevion Cooley. Shaka Hayward on the tackle. And we saw the good version of Louisville. Could have been more. Dropped a deep pass, but early on the offense, you look at the first quarter summary, 3rd and 24, the 48-yard touchdown. Duke had a big special teams play, but since then it's been all Cunningham.
Yeah, the big special teams play was followed up by Louisville's defense responding with an interception that they returned, gave Louisville great field position, and this has been quite the turn of events.
Quick toss, jet sweep out of Louisville, and another big play for the Cardinals, and that's Amari Huggins-Bruce. And you look at this offense, there's freshman Jordan Watkins, Huggins, Bruce, Cooley, a lot of young talent for Satterfield.
And a lot of speed. I mean, Huggins, Bruce, a guy that can really run. As you said, Watkins, a guy that can really run. I mean, you look at this Louisville team and what Scott Satterfield's building. He obviously came in and he had a guy like Tutu Atwell and used him extremely well. But this is a team that's starting to look like it is fast all over the field.
They give on first down. Again, missed tackles for Duke. And Cooley taking advantage. Trevion Cooley, the other freshman, having a big night, a gain of 20.
Well, watch the edge here. You've got number 11, Isaiah Fisher-Smith, who when that ball goes inside, he peeks inside, loses contain. And when Cooley's able to get back out, there's nobody there. It's a good job of continuing to work by this Louisville offensive line. I think this offensive line's gotten so much better over the course of the season. They're improved from the consistency standpoint from a year ago as well.
You know why, right?
Why's that?
Cunningham takes him out to dinner every Thursday night on home games.
Oh, of course he does.
Feeds him well.
Oh, man, love that.
Nothing better than bribing the big fellas with food. Cunningham looked to take a shot. Pocket collapsed immediately, and that's R.J. Oben with the sack for the Duke Blue Devils.
R.J. Oben gets the sack, does a nice job of pushing from up the middle, but this is really a team sack. You don't get too far above Malik Cunningham, force him up in the pocket, and then you collapse from the inside. It's a nice job by this Duke defensive line of working as a team to bring down the dangerous quarterback.
R.J. Oben's got an interesting story, doesn't he?
He's got a great story. His dad, Roman Oben, is a guy that's in the Louisville Ring of Honor. And so Roman Oben, a guy who has to pull against his alma mater, a guy that had a great NFL career, but obviously rooting for his boy. He's been a good player.
5th sack of the season for Oben. They get the ball in space to Shai Wertz. Mentioned the story of Shai Wertz, the transfer out of Georgia Southern. Let's go back to Oben and tell that story. You were talking to his dad. What an amazing story, having to root against his alma mater on behalf of his son.
Yeah, and how about pictures like this are priceless. And that's RJ with his dad after winning a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, looking up at the Lombardi Trophy. Mom, Linda, was a great athlete in college as well. But RJ Open's done a really nice job this year. And as you said, it's always fun for a family member if you can talk some smack against their alma mater.
False start. Offense, number 55. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
4th penalty on the night for the Cardinals. Now 3rd and long again. They've had 3rd and long a number of times early, and they've converted on a couple of them.
Yeah, they have. Malik Cunningham has been able to find open receivers. They've had receivers open really every 3rd down. So I think the key here is going to be getting pressure on Malik Cunningham.
7 of his 8 completions tonight for at least 12 yards. Cunningham's going to need that +2. Climbs the pocket, has space. There goes Malik Cunningham. He's going to cut outside, back in. What a run by Cunningham. 44-yard touchdown. And Malik Cunningham is putting on a show here on Thursday Night Football on ESPN.
All right, so it's an all-out blitz, and when everybody comes here, you're going to get pressure. Malik Cunningham's going to be able to slip out, and then there's going to be nobody in the middle of the field. Guys, can we pause it here? Can we pause it? I sprung it on our crew, but watch. Look at the middle of the field. There's nobody there. Everybody's in man-to-man. The middle of the field's wide open. You guys know how the play ended. It's with Malik Cunningham in the end zone.
Coming off a 5-touchdown performance a week ago, Malik already has 230. State, noon Eastern, ABC, Wake Forest, and Clemson. That one, a big one of the ACC Atlantic, and then in the Pac-12, you've got Oregon traveling to Utah. Had Utah head coach Kyle Whittingham on SportsCenter with me today. What a special season they've put together under tragic circumstances. Looking forward to watching all of that coming up this weekend. It's Gunnar Holmberg and the Duke offense. They had a field goal on the first possession, haven't had much since.
No, they haven't, and talked about it in the open. Duke now, you're down 3 scores. You got to push the ball down the field, especially on early downs. Look at all the bodies that are kind of creeping around the backfield to stop Mateo Durant.
So that's a good start for Mateo Durant, left with an injury early on. Looked healthy there, untouched to that 2nd level. Marvin Dallas brings him down and a gain of 27.
Well, it's a nice job on the left side of sealing the edge, allowing Mateo Durant to get around and get up the field.
Duke with tempo. Holmberg, the quick throw. It is caught by Cole Finney, the tight end. And a quick tackle on the play after a gain of 4.
And that Mateo Durant run, that's what's been so hard to come by for Duke here recently. Those chunk plays that make it so much easier to play offense. When you have to go 10, 12 plays all the time just to get points, it's tough.
Durant again right up the middle. Mateo Durant, 2 nice runs on this drive. Going to be a first down for the Blue Devils. Greedy Vance came in, missed the tackle, gain of 11.
Yeah, it's a nice counter play. It's actually same side counter. You don't see that a ton. The running back to the right side and then running the counter that side. The 2 pullers come around. They open up a nice hole. Mateo Durant able to get a nice gain.
Opens up the whole offense for Duke. There's Holmberg climbing the pocket, has Daryl Harding. And this is the Duke offense we saw in the first possession and a gain of 19.
This is a really good delivery by Gunnar Holmberg, climbing in the pocket and delivering as you see him get to the sideline. Jordan Moore, the running threat coming in. One of these days, one of these times, Jordan Moore's going to have a fake the run, throw it over the top.
Here it comes now.
No, not that I said it. There's no way
it's happening. You can write it home. Didn't happen.
Nope. See, it's because I said it.
That's Trent Davis on the carry. And here comes Holmberg. So it won't happen that time with Jordan Moore. Will it happen tonight?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
All right. Well, good prediction.
I mentioned it.
Good prediction. Thanks for bringing us into that thought.
It's Thursday, though. You never know.
Things get weird on Thursday.
They certainly do.
2nd and 6. 6th play of the drive. Holmberg the fake. Keeps it himself. Louisville right there. C.J. Avery, no gain.
It's a fascinating sequence of plays because you bring in Jordan Moore and you run the football to a receiver who motions in. You bring Gunnar Holmberg back in and you fake a jet sweep and then run Gunnar Holmberg, trying to catch Louisville off guard.
3rd and 6. Holmberg to throw, looks at the end zone, overthrows his intended receiver. That was the tight end, Finney. So now 4th down, and I don't know why Duke's kicking field goals.
Well, field goals aren't going to win you this thing the way the defense is playing. You're going to have to start to get some stops. This one's a little long to be an automatic go, 4th and 6. But I'm kind of with you, man. Like, if you want to win this thing, you're going to have to put the ball in the end zone at some point.
We've lost 6 straight in conference. Louisville's scoring every time they touch the ball, but they trot out Charlie Ham, 28-yard field goal attempt. Ham's able to add more points for the Blue Devils. So 21-6. Seen a couple drives out of Holmberg. They've only yielded field goals. We'll see Malik when we come back.
Team, it's been a grind.
Tell that story in just a bit. Fascinating story that all of us learned about when we got with the Louisville head coach earlier this week.
Yeah, it was. And you could see Scott Satterfield's face light up about the opportunity to come play here, a place that he obviously knows really well, as you said.
First time he's coached here in Wallace Wade. For more on the Scott Satterfield story and the connection, let's check in with our Quint Kesnick.
Scott Satterfield grew up here in Durham in the shadows of this stadium, and as a youngster playing Pee Wee football, he would sell programs and popcorn here with his mom to raise money for their rec program. As a high school quarterback nearby, he tore his ACL in 1989. The therapy, right here, Duke University, where this press box used to be a medical center. He also went to Duke football camp when Steve Spurrier was the head coach and had a quarterback and receivers camp. He's got a lot of family here. His parents are here. And this is a homecoming. First time he has coached in Wallace Wade.
That's Cunningham over the middle, Marshon Ford. You know what I did find interesting about Satterfield in that story, just growing up in the shadows of Wallace Wade Stadium? He said he never grew up a Duke fan.
Right.
I find the proximity, you would think, just by osmosis, he would be a Duke fan.
Yeah, we didn't really get into why that was, but this place is special to him because of the memories that he had. He moved down the road to Hillsborough, North Carolina when he got a little bit older. But as he said, as Quint said, when he tore his ACL, his surgeon.
Offense number 74, 10-yard penalty, first down.
When he tore his ACL, the surgeon was here at Duke, came to this, the shadow of this stadium all the time.
That's in the press box area.
It's very, very cool to hear him talk about his relationship to this university.
One of the great medical facilities in our country at Duke. I loved that camp card signed by Spurrier.
How about that? I went to a lot of camps as a kid. Never got a signed card from anybody. I'm looking at you, Mark Richt. I went to the Georgia football camp.
Budget cuts. 1st and 20. Malik looks to throw. Kept it himself. Boy, is he electric. He's still on his feet. Malik Cunningham is absolutely unreal. That is one of the best runs you were going to see. 72 yards. That was absolutely spectacular.
I just have one question after that, and it's how. I mean, there's a couple of times you think, all right, Duke's got him right here. Duke's got him hemmed up. Right here, Duke actually has him surrounded. Here, they've got a hold of his foot. He gets out of all of it. Outruns the defensive line, outruns the secondary, gets some blockers downfield, and then check out the convoy into the end zone. Big number 68, 68. Michael Gonzalez leading him into the end zone. I think that was.
14 of Louisville's plays are at least 12 yards. Malik Cunningham has over 300 yards of total offense himself and surpassed 10,000 yards of total offense touchdowns in a season. And that run, Roddy Jones, was exactly what we used to see at Lamar Jackson.
This is the Malik magic. I'm just going to show you some stills here, all right? Malik Cunningham, it's a zone read. He's got the option to throw it. Right here, what do you think the result of the play is going to be?
Tackle.
Tackle, exactly. Right here, what do you think the result of the play is going to be?
Tackle.
He's wrapped up. He's looking the other direction. They've got him hemmed up. This is the Malik Cunningham magic. He gets out of all of that, gets a bevy of players in front of him down the sideline and ends up in the end zone. It's Malik magic, man. Lamar was Lamarvelous. Malik is a magician.
Jordan Moore on at quarterback for Duke, and a quick throw outside. And that Cardinals defense is feeding off that Cardinals offense. And that is a no gain. As we take a look at tonight's player spotlight, brought to you by Tide. We would not be good at our jobs if our player spotlight was not Malik Cunningham. You look at those statistics, already accounted for 4 touchdowns. So 156 yards passing. Duke's got 133 yards total offense.
And by the way, Malik Cunningham's accounted for 9 touchdowns in the last 2 games. And we're not even a half through this one.
So this is the appropriate time to tell you this. If he wants, Malik Cunningham can come back and play another year of college football. In fact, if Malik comes back and the rest of the offense comes back, all 11 players on Louisville's offense could return next year.
And that is dangerous for the rest of the league. This offensive line has matured and played well. Malik Cunningham obviously has been sensational, especially in the back half of the season.
That was Jalen Calhoun after a gain of 5. Greedy Vance brings him down.
Gotta wonder if Malik's like, man, you know, I love our defense getting a 3 and out, but I could use a breather. You know, I could use a couple of plays to catch my breath after 70-something yards.
I mean, this has been absolutely electric out of this quarterback. We started the broadcast saying he's one of the better overall football players in the ACC, and he is not disappointed. In his entire reel could be a top play reel on SportsCenter coming up after us. The kick outside. Good job by Duke special teams, bringing down Jordan Watkins. That was Brandon Johnson on the tackle. Guess who's coming back? Malik in the Louisville offense.
I see Trey.
As that pass falls incomplete, intended for Watkins. Josh Blackwell on the coverage.
How about that list? Malik Cunningham, 872 rush yards this season, #1 for quarterbacks in FBS. But another couple of ACC quarterbacks.
How
about Sam Howell up there?
3 of the 4 from the ACC. Sam Howell's the one that stood out to me when I saw this list earlier.
The league of dual threat quarterbacks, maybe.
So 2nd and 10. Here's Mitchell off the right side. You heard the Louisville sideline scream face mask. I'm not sure if they missed one, the official missed one or what, but Louisville sideline obviously thought they did. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would say that was missed slightly as it stands, 3rd and 7.
Perhaps the official's vantage point got caught in the wash. 3rd and 7 for the Cardinals. 4 of 6 on 3rd downs tonight.
Feels like every 3rd down that they've converted has been a chunk play for Louisville.
Cunningham pressured. And another good throw to Ford. He is so dangerous when he leaves the pocket. And there's a flag on to play. It would appear they're going to review this for targeting. Isaiah Fisher-Smith, who blocks the punt after a gain of 12.
It's a position that Duke is already down a number of bodies.
Targeting defense number 11. That play is under further review.
And this is where we bring in our rules official, Matt Austin, to have another look at this with us. Matt?
Well, I didn't get a very good view of it live. Well, he is a defenseless player, so any hit to the above the head and shoulder area could be considered a foul. So you have both in play. I don't think it's a crown to the helmet hit. This is really a tweener, to be honest with you. I hate to sound wishy-washy, but he does look like he tries to avoid a little bit at the last minute, so the attack is in question. But I think it does check the boxes if you want to be technical. So I would not be surprised for this one to be confirmed.
And Matt, part of targeting, though, is having an indicator, which is usually a lowering of the head, and a thrust, a launch. I don't see any of that here. Does that come into play?
Well, yes, it does. Lower the head, leading with the shoulders, any of those things. He is attacking, although it's not the biggest attack I've ever seen. But, he does go helmet to helmet, so since he is defenseless, you got to stay away from the high hits. So this is, like I said, this is a tweener. So.
And because it's a tweener, Matt, you have to confirm all aspects of the targeting upon review, correct? So if it's a tweener, I mean, I would guess that it would be not targeting, correct?
Well, again, it comes down to his definition of an attack, of an indicator, and forcible contact.
On the field is confirmed. 15-yard penalty. And number 11 is disqualified.
All right, so it was confirmed. So Matt, criteria met. And I still believe at some point, as Isaiah Fisher-Smith has played his last ball play of the night, I still believe at some point we need to further the discussion on targeting, because I know it's hard to prove intent. But Fisher-Smith was making a ball play. Ford turned around. Yeah. Helmet met helmet. And there you have it.
I mean, it's one of the that play happens so quickly that I'm not sure what Isaiah Fisher-Smith could have done there. It's one of those football plays where the contact is almost inadvertent or unavoidable, as you see what it means to Isaiah Fisher-Smith. But I think the great thing about having Matt Austin here is you see that ultimately these are judgment calls. What is your definition of an attack?
Well, that wasn't it. Cunningham to throw over the middle, a wide open receiver. And that's Justin Marshall. And a gain of 21. And you had mentioned the depth issues already for the Duke secondary. It just got thinner with Fisher-Smith out.
Yeah, Lummy Young was already out for the game. Nate Thompson as well. So Jamark Woods, Daquan Johnson, Jalen Alexander, Jalen Stinson going to be called on a lot in that secondary at the safety position. Duke likes to play 3 of them, and they're down numbers.
That's Mitchell off the left side, brought down by Peebles after a gain of 3.
And if you're looking for a way that Louisville can take advantage of it, Jamark Woods, who's come in for Isaiah Fisher-Smith, is a bigger body, 6'3", 215, a good guy down in the box tackling, but if you can get him in space with this Louisville speed, that would be advantage Louisville if they're able to find that matchup.
So approaching the 3.5-minute mark here in the first half, 2nd and 7. As complete as you could get for the Cardinals in this first half. The quick shot to Shai Wertz. They've run this play with him a few times tonight. Wertz forced out of bounds, bringing up 3rd down.
It's a nice job of R.J. Oben. Uses a good arm over move, gets inside the block, pushes Wertz towards the sideline, and then Shaka Hayward pursuing from the inside. But watch Oben on the edge. Arm over to Marshon Ford, forces Wertz to run the hump. Shaka Hayward's able to run him out of bounds.
They've been so good on 3rd down tonight, 5 of 7. The one of the ones that didn't convert was because they went forward on 4th down and got it. Cunningham forced out of the pocket, gonna keep it himself. Stutter steps his way, chased out of bounds by Dorian Mausi. And that's going to bring up a 4th down. You saw Malik look at Satterfield, put his hand out, and say, we're going to go for it.
Yeah, and you look at Malik Cunningham in the pocket, he's almost unbothered back there. I mean, even when he's feeling pressure, just under control, floating away from it. Scott Satterfield on a 4th and 3, leaving the offense on. He doesn't look like he's in a rush to call a football play. So we'll see what they end up doing as they just now break the huddle, 14 seconds left on the clock.
Both teams with all 3 timeouts. It's a fake designed to run. There's your 4th down conversion. Jamarick Woods brings him down in a gain of 7.
Well, and this is designed to go to Amari Huggins-Bruce on the little bubble. But because of the threat of the bubble, you have that overhang defender take the receiver, and it leaves the lane wide open for Malik Cunningham. And honestly, the question can be asked, why are you leaving that guy wide open on 4th down?
So 1st and 10. Trying to add more before the half. That goes incomplete. Let's check in with Quentin Kesnick.
That's not the worst thing that can happen for Louisville. It looked like Malik Cunningham needed a little breather, starting to breathe hard. I tell you, from field level, guys, acceleration. He has uncommon acceleration. And it's the style that he plays with. He's so relaxed, so loose, like he's playing in the street, playing in the backyard, like this is just a pickup game. I'm just so impressed by how relaxed he is.
10th play of the drive. That's Jalen Mitchell off the left side. He has some space. Jalen Mitchell walks it in for 6. Missed tackles continued to be an issue for the Duke Blue Devils. 2 missed tackles there, Mausi and Stevens. It's 34-6 in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, the number of missed tackles for Duke today has been startling, and this is about as poor a tackling performance as I've seen from them this season. Now, it's hard to tackle Malik Cunningham, but you got to bring down anybody when you have a shot.
So this Duke defense, 45 points in 4 straight games. That's 1 shy of Louisville for the most in the ACC since it became a conference back in the 1950s. Louisville did back in 2018. Here's the touchdown again.
Yeah, it's just an outside zone play that gets in the end zone. You mentioned that Louisville year. I mean, that was Bobby Petrino's last year, but that defense quit on him. And for this Duke defense to even be in the same conversation as that, it's tough days for Duke. But for Louisville, I mean, this offense has been rolling. That Syracuse defense a week ago had been playing really well and was coming off of a bye, and Louisville was able to put up 35 in the first half. Scott Satterfield has been fantastic. He is the play caller for this Louisville offense. He's been great tonight, but it's easy to be great when you've got great players making you look good.
They've got Duke tonight, finish up with their rivalry game against Kentucky, that on Thanksgiving weekend. They get to 6-5 tonight. He was telling us, look, 6-5, you get the win tonight. You beat the rival 7-5, that's always a big win. Get to a bowl game and win. You got 8-5, you got momentum. You got the right guys coming back. You can be a team in the ACC next year.
And look, after that 2019 season, everybody thought in 2020 Louisville was going to be the team to watch out for. They were ahead of schedule in 2019. This thing that they're building now, 2022, they would be on schedule to be thought of as one of the better teams in the league coming in.
All right, let's check in with my guy, Kevin Connors. Kevin, what's coming up the half?
Hey, Matty, Twisted Tea halftime report is on the way. We're going to look ahead to Saturday's showdown in Death Valley. Wake trying to end the reign of Clemson in the ACC. Plus, Sam Acho inside the film room looking ahead to Oregon and Utah. Plus, we'll go inside the mind of Luke Fickell. What does he dream about when he dreams about the playoff? Find out, Matty, when you join us at the half.
We will join you at the half. Kevin Connors, my weekly reminder how great our studio crews are. Rob Lemley producing tonight. Mike Diesenhoff. Steve Oling. Our crew of thousands. My guy Riv produces College Football Final. Just a great group of people that we work with week in and week out here on ESPN's college football coverage after a gain of 7.
I got a taste of that studio life earlier this year. You guys work hard, man.
We do. People think, you know, look, I know we're in there watching college football, but you're doing cut-ins throughout the day.
Yeah.
You're doing pregame shows, halftime shows.
You got to know about everything that's going on, stay up to date, all that stuff. And look, the food is good.
Food's good.
You guys got to be on it, man.
Jesse, Joey, and I stay there till about 2:30 a.m. every Saturday.
Yeah.
Handing out helmet stickers, having fun. It's my favorite time of year.
This is my weekly reminder to you that Thursday players should be eligible for helmet stickers.
So I told you I gave Malik Cunningham a helmet sticker last week for his performance on Saturday, as Bobo gets a first down for Duke. Still all 3 timeouts. We need to start giving out Thursday helmet stickers on Thursdays.
We can do that.
We can do whatever we want. We're calling the game.
Duke's got a little momentum on this drive.
Under a minute. Holmberg, nice job staying strong in the pocket. That's over the middle to Durant. It looks like Duke's going to use one of their timeouts.
30-second timeout. Duke, first of the half.
All right, Saturday on ESPN Plus features 3 SEC games, including #1 Georgia, hosting Charleston Southern at noon Eastern, along with undefeated #22 UTSA, hosting UAB 3 Eastern, and BYU traveling to Georgia Southern at 4 p.m. Eastern. Sign up at ESPNplus.com. I was going to wait for Matt's soapbox. Can the SEC stop with this week instead? Actually, you know what? Here's my soapbox.
Okay.
These guys.
This is your soapbox. Look, they're having a good time.
I mean, my guy's having a good time.
It's a dancing queen, no less.
Taco Bell student section welcomes you to the Live Moss student section of the year. Dude, use hashtag student section sauce. Now, this is a student section with sauce.
That was a king right there, getting at the dancing queen.
To get the committee's attention, go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see how your school can compete. Holmberg forced out of the pocket, keeps his eyes downfield. Nice throw. We'll debate whether it was intended for Bobo. Doesn't matter. Greedy Vance on the tackle. Completion and a first down for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, finds his top target. Gunnar Holmberg showing some mobility. He's operated this 2-point drive well. You get up, spike it on first down. But that delivery by Holmberg was really nice.
So Calhoun was in the area also.
Calhoun almost got a hand on it. Probably better that he didn't. Bobo able to bring it down. But look, this would be Duke scoring a touchdown here. I mean, they're going to need a lot of help to get back in this game. But at least you get some momentum going into halftime. You get the ball first in the second half. It's something good to talk about during the break.
They've been down there twice. They elected for field goals. Holmberg, quick shots to his favorite target. Bobo having a nice night. Gain of 13.
Check out this route from Jake Bobo. Gives him a little head fake in, throws him in, and then goes back out. It's a nice job with the stem, the physical, being physical at the top of the route, getting open.
6 receptions, 76 yards for Bobo. Holmberg, ball's loose. And Duke able to fall back on it. Malik Clark was there to force the fumble. And Duke's going to use their second timeout.
Gunnar Holmberg's been so good on this drive, but the #1 thing, you have to protect the football. As you climb the pocket, it gets a little low. Clark's able to knock it out. Duke really fortunate to jump back on that one. But look, like, plays like that are kind of like Duke's season in a nutshell. They've had a lot of good that's been wiped away by small mistakes on the offensive side of the football. And the way they're playing defense this year, they just can't afford any misses on offense.
Saturday, we'll have another giant game in the Big Ten. Noon Eastern, ABC, Michigan State, Ohio State. That's a giant noon kickoff right there.
Certainly
Buckeyes and Sparty. There isn't a group of skill position players better than Ohio State's. I will fight anyone who says otherwise, and that's with a true freshman at running back, Travion Henderson.
Yeah.
Holmberg, incomplete. And by fight, Roddy, I mean argue with.
Yeah.
Not physically.
Fervently argue with.
Kendarick Duncan was there on the coverage.
Look, Ohio State's got 3 guys at receiver that are probably going to be first-round picks. 2 of them this year, 1 of them next year in Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Olave, Garrett Wilson, Smith and Jigba. They got Marvin Harrison's kid as a freshman.
They got a freshman running back that's a first-round pick down the line.
Oh, what a catch by Bobo. Helping his quarterback out. Bobo, a nice drive here from on Greedy Vance. He's been the bright spot this half.
There's a player underneath, a player over the top, so Gunnar Holmberg puts it up high. Jake Bobo has been a bright spot, not only this half, but this season. He's done a nice job.
7 catches, 86 yards for the senior. Going to him in the end zone, and it's incomplete. Bobo, 5 catches, 57 yards on this drive.
This one's a good job by Greedy Vance, being physical with Bobo, pushing him towards the sideline. You'd like to see Jake Bobo fight that to stay inside, give Gunnar Holmberg a place to throw it outside. Try and hold your line. Don't restrict yourself to the sideline.
So 2nd and 10. Can Duke get some points on the board before the half? Whistle blows, flag on the play.
False start. Offense. Number 79. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
It's Carson Van Lin, the right tackle.
It's the right side of the line. I actually think it might have been both tackles. It was. Graham Barton didn't get his number called, but certainly could have been as well.
Bobo in a one-on-one fight with Greedy should have been picked off. That's going to be a flag. And I think Duncan's going to be called for it. He was slow to get up. Looked like that ball was thrown into danger, and Holmberg got away with it.
Defense, number 27. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
I actually think they got the wrong guy on this one. This should have been on number 9, C.J. Avery, who's underneath. 27 just comes over the top. Actually ends up on C.J. Avery, but the linebacker underneath got a hold of the tight end, Nicky Dalmolin. And Duke's got to have, you got to get 2 shots at the end zone here with 9 seconds left.
Still 1 timeout, Durant in the backfield. Holmberg to the end zone, intended for Bobo, incomplete. He and Vance they're like playing one-on-one basketball out there. This is like make it, take it.
And as the field's gotten more restricted, Greedy Vance has done a nice job being physical with Jake Bobo. Bobo tries to stop. Looks like Holmberg thinks he's going to keep going. Now with 6 seconds, you still have time for 2 more shots at the end zone if you want it. The plays have to be that quick, though.
Holmberg forced out of the pocket. Cannot take a sack or turn it over. Did he get? No, it's going to be ruled incomplete. Still a great effort.
Well, and there's zeros on the clock because of the scramble.
And you're right, Roddy Jones. That's going to be the end of the first half.
Wow.
So play clock management.
The previous play is under further review.
They're going to review it for a few things. To see if there's time on the field, to see if there's a foot in bounds.
Just to give him credit for an interception?
It looks like, I mean, his foot there looks like it's out of bounds, I'm guessing. But
my point is,
if we can bring in Matt too, they're going to look at the clock here, correct? Matt Austin, our rules analyst, they can review whether or not there's time left, right?
Yes, and I do think there was 1 second left when his foot touched out of bounds. But it was very close to being an interception. That toe is just barely touching the white, it looks like.
It's a great effort out of Duncan, but you're right. It looked as if, I mean, it's...
And you can actually see the scoreboard clock, on this shot.
The home clock. You see the tip of his toe touching the white. All right, so watch that as the clock up top.
Yeah, I think they're going to put some time back on the clock.
Let's check in with Quint.
Guys, there's some physical evidence right here. I got a toe mark right here on some white.
Play, there's 1 second left.
They're putting a second back on the clock, but this is clearly an incomplete pass. This is a toe mark. It's on the white. We got a 4th down.
You know, tennis uses the laser. ESPN uses Quint's digit.
Absolutely. I'd put that up with any laser in the world.
I would too. All right. One of those field goal attempts with 1 second left. 3rd time Duke has done this. And Roddy, I don't get it.
At this point, the way that the the offense has been inside the 10-yard line. I mean, I'm with you from a, hey, let's get back in the game standpoint. Field goals certainly aren't going to do it.
Correction on the downs. It is 3rd down. 1 second remaining in the half.
I think Duke is just looking for anything good to happen.
It's Cunningham, 26-yard attempt. 3rd field goal of the night for Ham, and we go to the break. So 35-9. It has been all Louisville. Let's head to the halftime report with Kevin Connors and Sam Acho.
Maddie, they sliced the lead to 26 just before the break. Welcome into the Twisted Tea halftime report with Sam Acho.
Correctly, because they were sensational. It's a 48-yard reception by Travion Cooley for a touchdown, and then it started to become the Malik Cunningham show. You got a reception by Marshon Ford for a touchdown. This one, a 44-yard rushing touchdown by Malik Cunningham. But, Matt, he was not done on the ground with the Malik magic. Also had a 72-yard rush for a touchdown. Jalen Mitchell added another one as well from 11 yards out.
And if you're a college football fan, just a remarkable half. Malik, the first FBS player to have 150 yards and 150 rushing yards in a half since Jordan Lynch in 2012 against UMass. As we take a look at our first half stats, brought to you by PlayStation.
Jordan Lynch, good name pulled from the.
It is a fine football name.
Yeah, from the record books. But you look, Duke has moved the football.
They have
200 yards in the first half.
3 field goals.
3 field goals. That's the frustrating thing if you're a Duke fan, is having to settle for field goals, and you are settling for field goals.
Holmberg going to take a shot on 1st down, hook it up with Bobo, his favorite target this season, and especially tonight. That'll put him just under 100 yards for the evening. 8 catches, 98 yards for Bobo. It's going to be to Bobo again. That's incomplete.
Gunnar Holmberg, that was one. He's gone to Jake Bobo so much that to the single receiver side where Jake Bobo is, Louisville's starting to drop guys underneath him.
But waiting for perhaps a couple of touches out of Mateo Durant. Just 40 yards in the first half for Durant. Holmberg to throw again. It is caught by Jake Marweedy, immediately tackled as we go down to Quentin Kasnick.
On the Louisville sideline, I talked to Scott Satterfield. He said, we've come to expect those type of improv, explosive plays out of his quarterback. He gave his offensive line and receivers a lot of credit for their downfield blocking. I asked him what it was like to call a play and watch the quarterback change it and make magic. And he smiled. He loosened up. He's certainly enjoying this experience right now as Malik Cunningham is coming into his own.
3rd and 5 for Duke. It's going to be incomplete. Intended for Calhoun. And that's Quinterio Cole on the coverage.
Anytime Duke gets into these 3rd and mediums, you can almost guarantee it's going to be a route right at the sticks, and Louisville's sitting on it. And Duke now 4th and 5, middle of the field. They're deciding to punt. I mean, you're down 35-9. Go for it. See if you can get something going for your offense. Try and get back in this football game.
My guess, if you're kicking field goals when they did, you're not going for it on 4th and 5, but they're going to fake it instead. There you go. Wilson. Cutcut's like, take that, Matt and Roddy. I live dangerously.
I think you meant Porter Wheels, son.
Dollar. That is a dollar.
Oh. I'll see myself out.
Please. Actually, I need you for the second half. Look at Porter. Let's go.
Fired up. 35-9. Let's go. Punter, get you going.
I bet our friends at No Context College Football are having fun with that one.
I mean, obviously, I like the call for Duke to go for it, but what you do there is you show your players, hey, look, I believe in you guys. And I believe that we could get back in this football game.
I agree with you, but why the field goals? That's the one part that doesn't sync up with all this.
Can't defend the field goals. I cannot defend those. I can defend going for it on 4th down with fake punt.
2nd and 5 for Holmberg. Quick shot to the outside, and a good job making a couple of men miss is Durant. Slid out of a tackle. It'll be a 1st down, Duke.
I want to see more touches out of Mateo Durant in the second half. 5 carries for 45 yards in the first half. That only his 2nd reception. He's got to touch the ball a lot more.
Ask and you shall receive. Durant again up the middle. Came into the broadcast saying he's really the guy that makes this offense go. He and Bobo, the 2 leaders of the offense.
And honestly, part of the reason we may not have seen as much from him tonight is got a little banged up. Quint told us, went into the tent, got that ankle retaped. So he's not playing at 100%.
Holmberg to throw, has a receiver down at the bottom. Good closing there, Marweedy on the catch. That's Marvin Dallas had the interception earlier tonight. And a gain of 3, bringing up another 3rd down.
Not only a good close, but an excellent tackle. I mean, watch, this is textbook. Lead with the shoulder, hit right around the midsection, roll into it, bring the receiver down.
3rd and 5. Good job by Holmberg, patiently waiting. And it's going to fall incomplete. That's intended for Bobo. Chandler Jones covering.
Well, he's forced to go deep is Gunnar Holmberg to Jake Bobo because Louisville's just sitting on those little out routes. Chandler Jones all over this one down the field. And as good as Jake Bobo has been on those jump balls, those have not been automatic completions.
So another 4th down here for Duke. At this point, you just keep going for it. Forced out of the pocket. That's going to be incomplete. Was gambling a little bit, hitting Jarrett Gardner when that pass looked like it was going to be incomplete. No penalty, no harm. Louisville ball up 35-9.
Stay tuned. ESPN, home of the college football postseason.
Weekend as Cunningham and Louisville take over. And a nice defensive play there by Duke. That's Jalen Stinson after a gain of 1. Amari Huggins-Bruce on the reception.
Jalen Stinson, one of the fastest guys on that Duke defense. Nice job of tackling out in space. This guy that had a kickoff return for touchdown a couple games ago against Pitt. He's a good young player for him, and I think a guy at that nickel position that ended up being a really good player.
2nd and 8. Ground game now for Louisville. Bouncing off tackles is Mitchell. Mitchell had a touchdown in the first half and a gain of 7. But all of the offense, 191 through the air for Malik, 2 touchdowns. That was Cooley on the carry, my fault there. And 178 on the ground. All of the offense went through the quarterback.
On only 8 carries, too. With 22 and some change yards per carry.
So now 3rd and 1.
This is a situation where the quarterback zone read becomes so dangerous.
You called it. He is a dangerous player. Skips his way to a 1st down, brought down by Stinson. Missed the tackle, did Stinson, in a gain of 3.
And Stinson does a really nice job of playing this. Getting Malik Cunningham in space is a tough assignment. He actually does a nice job of getting him around the legs to at least throw him off balance, but Cunningham falls forward, 1st down.
A cut left. The option was Travion Cooley or keep the ball. He did just that. Cunningham to throw. Plenty of room to run, which has been the case all night for Malik Cunningham. He is safely out of bounds. Shaka Hayward missed the early tackle. And a gain of 35. It's going to take it close to the 20-yard line again.
I feel like if you could have a thought bubble in Shaka Hayward's helmet, thinking or showing what he was thinking when he was in the open field. Malik Cunningham, it's got to be, oh goodness, here we go again, because it seemed like over and over and over when Malik Cunningham's been one-on-one with any of these guys, it's been advantage Cunningham. Well, 216 yards on the ground tells you that they've had a tough time tackling him.
I said it earlier. It's worth bringing up again to continue our discussion with Louisville, that there's potentially all 11 of these players are back next year for Scott Satterfield as Cooley takes the ball to the left side. And based on what we've seen over the last couple of games, we brought it up, the Wake Forest made field goal, the Virginia missed field goal, that was a 1-point loss, and then Malik slipping against Clemson. 3 games, and if they go the other way, this team is 8-3, or 8, or yeah, 3. Did you take it 8-2?
Yeah.
They're 8-2.
Yeah. No, 8-3. You had it right.
Did I have it right?
5-5.
No, you back off 8-2.
Man, what math, man?
I know.
It's hard.
And you're the Georgia Tech guy.
That was a good job by you, Arizona State, man.
Thank you.
Great job.
Cunningham to throw, 2nd and 9, pulled his arm down, points to the receiver, and another touchdown for Louisville. That's Jordan Watkins. The space with the offense and the Duke defense. I mean, watch Watkins. He's just going to point out his blocker, and he knew he was going to score. 19-yard touchdown reception.
Well, they turn him completely loose. Both safeties on that right side take the vertical up the field. There's nobody on Jordan Watkins, and it's an easy trot into the end zone. And once again, I mean, this drive is made by their ability to run the football, Malik Cunningham, but Duke turning another guy loose.
(42-9). Cardinals.
Every time I eat stuffed crust from Pizza Hut, I'm
at sports.
The Leopards, Lafayette.
Where are they from, Roddy?
Easton, Pennsylvania.
Oh, boy.
It's a wondrous thing, Google.
An opportunity for Jalen Stinson to return. Takes it across the 20 to the 28-yard line. We saw him warming up. There will be a new quarterback for Duke as the freshman Riley Leonard's going to come in for the Blue Devils.
It's a guy that started last week against Virginia Tech, and he's got some ability. Obviously, being a true freshman, the grasp of the offense is still coming along, but he's an excellent running threat with his legs, and the experience that he's gained this year only help him for the future. Duke just, you know, you're looking to build here. You're giving guys opportunities. We expected to see Leonard. We just want to see some good things out of the young freshman.
Quick throw out to Jontavis Robertson. Robertson does a nice job getting the numbers for the first down. Quick throw, gain of 12. You're right with Duke. At this point, you see what you have and who you have. You're going to have that uncomfortable conversation at some point to assess the football program. A good roll out there, finding 81, Nicky Dalleman. And talk about the future of Coach Cutcliffe. Been here for 14 years. He took this program, like I said, to heights it hadn't seen in a long time. But it is going to have to be something that's assessed in the offseason.
Yeah, and I think the important thing to note is that Duke has a new athletic director, Nina King, who comes in her first year. Obviously, you have the succession plan for Coach K in place, that being the most important thing at Duke in a lot of ways. But the way this football program's going, the questions are certainly going to be asked, and David Cutcliffe is one of the most respected coaches in the country. No question. But this is a tough spot for the football program to be in.
Good job there by Leonard, keeping his feet and getting the first down. He was honest with us. I asked him, I said, look, discussion about your future. Where do you see yourself? What do you want to do? He admitted he doesn't want to quit coaching.
Right.
He is such a football guy. He is such a football mind and an offensive mind. I'm sure if he wanted to, there are coaches across the country that would bring him in just for his mind alone.
Yeah, and look, you can track a lot of the improvement of the league as a whole to a couple of guys and what they've done sort of in the Dabo Swinney era. Dabo Swinney being one of them. Obviously what Jimbo Fisher did at Florida State. What David Cutcliffe did at Duke, making an ACC championship game. What Paul Johnson did at Georgia Tech and the consistency that they had. All of those coaches kind of came in around the same time and really helped improve the league in football. But Duke having expectations is something that is purely because of David Cutcliffe's tenure.
See Riley Leonard giving him a little spark offensively. The 1st and 10. That's a good throw to number 6, Eli Pancol, and all Riley Leonard just comes in, just starts slinging it around the yard. 1st and goal, Duke. Trying to get into the end zone for the first time tonight.
And that's the challenge for Duke on offense at this point, getting the ball in the end zone.
Comes out 5 for 5. Injured player down. Malik Clark, the injured player. They'll tend to him. We'll step aside and come back after this. Peyton and Eli, ESPN 2. 1st and goal now for the current Duke offense. Jalen Calhoun, he's going to walk in. Touchdown, Duke. And for some people, that one could be big as we move through the 3rd quarter. 6-yard touchdown for Calhoun. First touchdown of the night for the Blue Devils.
Yeah, and how about the boost? The shot of adrenaline that Riley Leonard gave this team. He's perfect on that drive, and the threat of quarterback run has the entire Louisville defense over pursuing, and it's an easy touchdown for Jalen Calhoun. Nice job of the freshman coming in and giving them a jolt of energy.
Yeah, Riley Leonard comes off the bench. 5 of 5, 46 yards. And Duke gets its first touchdown of the night, now 42-17.
And the light show.
You know, Cutcliffe said something to us when we were talking, and you and I have called this our 13th game or 12th game of the year. And we see a lot of teams around the country. Duke has talent.
Yeah.
Jalen Calhoun is talented. Jake Bobo is talented. Mateo Durant, talented. Gunnar Holberg has his moments of flashing his talent. This isn't Duke no talent. It's there. It's just fine-tuning some things defensively. But it speaks to what we were talking about earlier with Coach Cutcliffe, the fact that there is talent on this roster.
There absolutely is. And if you don't believe us, go and look at the draft last year. I mean, Duke had 4 guys drafted from that defense alone. So this is a team that has been able to recruit talent and develop talent in a lot of ways. They've kind of fallen on hard times for a number of reasons. One, I think defensively, they have not certainly have not been good the past 2 seasons, but they have not been as great as they were a few years ago. And then 2, the quarterback position just has not been there for David Cutcliffe. It's been better this year, but not good enough to overcome some of the shortcomings that they have elsewhere.
Last win this season, September 25th. That was week 4 against Kansas. 52-35, surprise onside kick. That was heady play by Louisville and their player, Marvin Dallas. I mean, just heady recognition to get up there. Watch this, Rod.
Duke surely, or Louisville surely should have expected. Charlie Ham just overruns it. That line that he ran past is the line that it needed to go, the 10 yards that it needed to go. Dallas doing a nice job of anticipating, recovering. Charlie Ham had a shot at it. He knows it, missed it.
So we're going to watch, as long as Malik Cunningham's still in at quarterback, we're going to keep an eye on his numbers. 216 yards rushing tonight. Single game record for Louisville, you guessed it. Lamar Jackson, 226 yards against Texas A&M in 2015.
Honestly, if I'm Scott Satterfield.
So he's 10 yards away from getting that, or tying it, 11 from breaking it.
If I'm Scott Satterfield, whatever play call I have, there is no shot Malik Cunningham is running the football. I don't want him anywhere near taking another hit tonight.
Let him get the record, though.
Scott Satterfield doesn't know that the record's coming.
Coaches have no clue. You're right.
No idea.
They don't keep track.
Maybe somebody gets in his ear, though. He's like, hey, I'm listening to Matt Perry and Roddy Jones.
That's right. That's exactly what they're doing. Quick throw. You don't need to run it when your guys are wide open. I've got another one for you. Should Malik go for 300 yards passing, he becomes only the second player since 2001 to have 300 yards passing and 200 yards rushing in a game.
Who's the other one?
2001 Pac-12.
Wow. Is that my chance to guess?
I'm going to keep giving you clues. As they run off the right side with Mitchell. Pac-12.
This could be painful, by the way.
The job is currently open in the Pac-12.
Marcus Tuiasosopo.
Well done. Well done. Yeah, you pulled Tui out.
Let's go. Let's go.
Of all the things that's happened tonight in this broadcast, that was the most. I was like, we're going to be here till the fourth quarter trying to get this one.
The biggest upset. That's about the only name I had.
Malik to the end zone. Touchdown, Louisville. And that one is really big for the crowd. Amari Huggins-Bruce. Now 6 touchdowns accounted for tonight. 245 yards. That thing was a dime.
It was. It's an on-time throw, in rhythm, play action, throw it to the sideline in the end zone. Huggins-Bruce is there for the touchdown, and Louisville keeps on rolling.
That missed extra point does not factor into anything that someone would care about, minus the coach and the kicker missing the extra point.
It's one of those it allows you to coach them hard, but for those interested, it does not matter. Look at those numbers. 245 passing, 216 rushing, 4 touchdowns through the air, 2 touchdowns on the ground, and by the way, highlight reel touchdowns on the ground.
So I need to do some quick math here.
Okay, good luck.
11, 5, 6.
Carry the 1.
461 yards of Malik Cunningham offense.
It's incredible, man. This has been as good a performance as we've seen on our package all year on Thursday nights. This has been as good a performance as Malik Cunningham's had this year in his package of games that he's had. And Louisville looks like the type of offense that's going to be really dangerous down the stretch.
I'm still reeling from you getting Marcus Tuiasosopo.
Appreciate that.
So Louisville's defense is going to have the ball again. You got to give their defensive coordinator, Brian Brown, a lot of credit. First 6 games, they were giving up an average of 29.6 points a game. The next 4, they've given up 18.7 points a game, 16 tonight. But Brian Brown's actually got a pretty interesting story.
He's got a great story. He's done an excellent job. He's got quite the connection with the coach on the other side there.
We'll check in with Quint Kesnick here in a minute after this play. 1st and 10. Riley Leonard back at quarterback for Duke. Leonard the play fake. And a nice toss out there to Calhoun. So Quint Kesnick, tell us about Brian Brown, Louisville's defensive coordinator.
And his connection to Coach Cutcliffe. Well, he's from Clarence, Mississippi, recruited and played for Ole Miss for Coach Cut for 3 years. He remembers the recruiting visit where he and his mom met Coach. Says Coach is a down-to-earth guy, loves his people, he's a player's coach, and he's tried to utilize that in his career. He also played basketball at Ole Miss, so he's a 2-sport guy. Coach Cut said Brian was extremely smart. I mean, just a brainiac in terms of coverages and his ability on the field. And he's done a great job this year in Louisville. I tell you, the work he has done with these corners, and specifically, Roddy, you got Greedy Vance early on in the year. He was grabby Vance. Now he's greedy. And the other corner, Chandler Jones, has done fine work as well.
Yeah, Quint, to your point, and they lost Keitrell Clark for the season, a guy who was an all-ACC contender a year ago, their best corner coming into the season. And you said it, the work that he's done with Vance and with Jones, even Trey Franklin has been impressive. But I got to go back to the video that we saw.
Big
Brian
six.
Brown. Was that even standard definition 1?
No.
It's like old film.
Yeah, old
Number
film.
2, who was the giant receiver from Tennessee that almost ran him down?
Couldn't run him down, though.
Nope.
That's how fast Brian Brown was. Says great stories that he had about Coach Cutcliffe and the recruiting process. They still keep in touch. Cutcliffe beams with pride when he talks about what Brian Brown's been able to do for this defense. But, I mean, one thing coaches will tell you across the country, there is nothing that connects them more to their job than players of their past.
Right.
And when they all go on to succeed, and then you see one take on a coaching job and do a great job at this Louisville defense. Nice stiff arm there by Jentavis Robertson. But it was just a fun story and connection between the two, and great memories that they had when they were in college.
It really was. The story that both of them told about their recruiting visit was really cool. And I think the job that Brian Brown here has done, I'm not sure if he's gotten enough credit, because this was a team, I mean, we talked about it earlier. We mentioned the fact that this Duke defense and the number of points they've given up, it's only close. It's the only team that's been close was 2018 Louisville. Like, that's what they were on defense when Brian Brown took over. And while they have not been world beaters, the improvement that they've had has been significant. He's done an excellent job with the pieces that he was given in forming a defense that looks like it's going to continue and get better and better.
How about Riley Leonard, 10 of 10 since he's come in. Under 30 seconds now in the third quarter. They give to Mateo Durant, and that will likely be the end of the third quarter as Chandler Jones brings Durant down. So we've played 3, and it has been Malik Cunningham's personal football field tonight. This season, along with their contributions to University General Scholarship Funds for every field goal and extra point made, All-State will also be donating to the American Red Cross to help with disaster relief efforts. Thank you, All-State. Start of the fourth quarter here. Matt Berry, Roddy Jones, Quentin Kesnick, Riley Leonard. The story for Duke. Untouched, 35 yards for the touchdown. How about Riley Leonard coming in and giving Duke a little spark here in the second half?
Yeah, and it's good to see him have some success after a tough day last week against Virginia Tech. Does a nice job. They open up a little bit of a hole, design quarterback run, and is able to burst through and get to the end zone. It looks like Duke's going to go for 2. And we have 15 seconds left on the clock. You got to hurry.
This would cut the lead in half. A 24-point game with an entire quarter to play. Leonard to the end zone. Flags down, intended for Calhoun.
Kind of unfortunate for Louisville. Greedy Vance is just trying to recover because he knows where the ball's going.
Number 21 on the defense. Penalty is half the distance to the goal line.
He's thinking the ball's going more towards the end line. And it's going more towards the pylon, and obviously a clear pass interference penalty.
Reminder, Duke early in the game elected for 2 field goals. And then at the third before the half, some end around look. Riley's going to keep it himself. And he's tackled. 2-point conversion fails. Jones on the tackle. So it remains 48-22 Louisville, and an injury on the play.
Marvin Dallas banged up, the guy who actually made the play.
All right, we'll step aside as they take a look at Marvin Dallas. Louisville ball up 48-22.
What's wrong with me?
College football lineup over on ACC Network and the ESPN app. On Boston College, then number 20 NC State hosts Syracuse, looking to get bowl eligible with the win. The day capped off 2 more teams looking to get bowl eligible: Virginia Tech and Miami, both 5-5. Don't have ACC Network? Go to ACCN.com for instant access.
Thought that was a mannequin for a second there.
All right, so good news for Louisville. Marvin Dallas is walking off under his own power. He made the play on the 2-point conversion, laid there for quite a while. They were able to turn him over on his back, and under the help of Louisville's training staff, able to get over there to the sideline.
Marvin Dallas, a regular contributor for this Louisville defense. The way he was kind of laying there on his stomach is a little worrisome there for a second, but good to see him at least able to get off and walk off assisted, get off the field.
Had the interception earlier in this game, as we expect an onside kick from Duke as Louisville brought out their hands team. And they're going to kick it deep. So with the score 48-22, Malik gonna come back in and give this offense some more run. I don't know what else he could do tonight. He's outgained Duke by himself, 462 yards to 391.
It's been quite the night. And Duke being able to put the ball in the end zone the past 2 drives actually puts Louisville in sort of a weird position where you don't have quite enough time, or there's too much time and the lead's not quite big enough to start putting the reserves in, especially at the quarterback position. So
26-point game. They found some spark with Riley Leonard at quarterback, and so steady diet of Malik Cunningham could put that to bed. It's a nice play there by Louisville on first down. That's 84, Des Melton. First catch for him tonight, and a gain of 21.
They just ran this exact same play to the exact same guy, Des Melton. Malik Cunningham fakes it to the running back. It looks like he's got the option to either run it if the linebacker on the edge, Shaka Hayward, takes Melton, or toss it out to Melton. Melton's been open, wide open both times.
That is his second catch, my fault. Nine different players for Louisville have caught a ball. It's a gain of 5.
Matt, I don't think we've given enough credit today to the offensive line of Louisville. Trevor Reed, Caleb Chandler, Cole Bentley, Adonis Boone, Renato Brown, Brian Hudson's played a lot. Michael Gonzalez has gotten in there. There you get a look at Luke Kandra. They have done such a good job today.
Yeah, and Satterfield will tell you, it's the consistency up front that's led to a lot of this. When you've got a consistent lineup up front, it does everything for your offense, because there's the confidence. There goes Malik Cunningham. Confidence that you know that there's continuity with the big fellas. So it's a gain of 8. He is close to Lamar Jackson's record. 226 is the record against A&M in 2015. 2 yards to tie, 3 to break.
Now you have to give him one more carry. Just to get him the record. Can we get...
He's gonna... Look, there's 13 minutes left in the fourth quarter. He's going to get at least 5 more carries.
The thing is, this is his last drive, most likely.
It is his last drive, I would bet, yeah.
You want to obviously keep him out of harm's way. And we talked about...
he's not getting tackled.
Yeah. That's a very good point. It's a very good point. He has not been tackled a whole lot. I can't even remember the last time he was brought down to the ground.
But I'm excited when you look at future, if this team returns intact. You want to know who that next ACC team is to step it up. And in a year where Clemson's down to their standards, it's been fun seeing Wake Forest as Cunningham looks to take a shot deep. Has a receiver. It is caught. Touchdown. Cunningham and Louisville. 36-yarder. And that is Tyler Harrell. So he didn't get that carry, didn't get that rushing record yet, but more points. A lot of those to the last quarterback to throw for 300 and run for 200.
Tuiasa Sopo did it against an academic school out west in Stanford.
That's correct.
Louisville doing it against an academic school on the East Coast.
I'm not sure when
all season,
especially when we're remote. Eyes and ears sometimes. This ACC weekend kicks off a huge weekend in college football. Some of the ACC storylines we're following, some good ones at that. Big one in the ACC Atlantic at Wake and Clemson. One we've been waiting for in coastal chaos with Miami and Virginia. Here's some of those ACC stories, which leads you to believe his career is over for the Tar Heels. And there it is, just mentioned it. Wake Forest against Clemson, Saturday, noon Eastern on ESPN. What a remarkable season it's been for Dave Clawson and the Demon Deacons. Ranks 13th in the college football playoff rankings. Could we have a Wake Forest Pitt ACC championship?
Yeah, we very well could. Look, Wake can win any of the next 2 games and make it to the ACC championship, but this one would make it more special. I mean, Clemson may be down, but they are still the most talented team in the league, and doing it at their place as an underdog, clinching a berth in the championship game would be massive.
Riley Leonard continues to impress. We take a look at some of the clinching scenarios. They're all over college football, but I do want to focus on the ACC here. You mentioned Wake wins the Atlantic with a win over Clemson. It's that simple. Win and you're in. I mean, it's not simple, it's Clemson, but that's the scenario. Pitt in with a victory over Virginia. UVA takes the Coastal by winning out against Pitt, Virginia Tech. Then NC State needs a machination of things to happen with some other stuff. Easiest thing for 2 of these schools is win and get in.
Yeah, on both sides, it's really simple. If Virginia beats Pitt and beats Virginia Tech, they're in. If this weekend Pitt beats Virginia, they're in. On the other side, Wake Forest, it's all on you.
Yeah.
You win out and you're in. So it's pretty simple.
I believe Wake an underdog.
Wake is an underdog.
On the road.
That is correct.
At Clemson. But look at this. Last 10 ACC championships, it's been all Clemson, and Florida State snuck in there for a couple of years.
I've got some you hit me with trivia earlier. I got some trivia for you.
What do you got?
Who was the last non-Clemson or Florida State ACC champion?
So take you back to 2010. I know there was a Riley Skinner year in there when Wake Forest went to the Orange Bowl.
2006.
This is a fun question. Give me a moment.
Yep, I'll give it to you. Do you want a hint?
Riley Leonard takes it for first down. Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
2010. That was the Virginia Tech team that opened the season with the loss to Boise.
Remember that?
Lost the second game as well.
And that was Kellen Moore.
James Madison lost the second game, then rattled off. I believe they won the rest of their games in the regular season, rattled off like 10 straight.
Riley Leonard, by the way, has yet to throw an incomplete pass.
Yeah. Look, Riley Leonard's done a really nice job as we've started talking about anything under the sun. He's done a nice job moving them down the field, and I think that's why you saw Malik Cunningham come back into the game on the last drive, because Duke has moved the ball and been able to put it in the end zone.
Let's go down to Quinn.
And here's the book on Riley Leonard. 6'4", okay, an outstanding high school basketball player from Fairhope, Alabama, all-state. May actually walk on here at Duke. His highlight reel, his dunk reel is unbelievable. First start last week against Virginia Tech. 1 touchdown, 1 pick, okay? His motion, talking to Coach Cutcliffe about his long motion, it's going to have to be ultimately fixed as this handoff goes for nothing. The ball comes out.
Oh, quick Kessnick.
Sorry, Matt.
No.
Sorry about that, Matt.
Hop in.
But so Leonard, it was interesting. I said, Coach Cut, he's a tall guy. He's got that long, extended release. He goes, well, we'll work on that. You don't want to change that in year one.
And recovered.
Quint, you missed the fumble recovery call.
Ball was out. You got to hop on it. Assume everything's a live ball.
Under further review.
They're going to take a look at that. I mean, he's the kind of player we talk about cut. Everybody knows he's a quarterback whisperer, what he did with the Mannings. And so he knows what he's talking about when it comes to quarterback development. So while they take a look at this, it is currently ruled a fumble on Mateo Durant. Louisville recovers. We'll step aside while they review.
Welcome.
The call on the field was confirmed. Mateo Durant's fumble. Louisville's defense recovers. We're going to see a new quarterback for the Cardinals. Brock Doman's going to now take over. Malik Cunningham's night is over. 527 yards total offense, 7 touchdowns. Brock Doman now in a quarterback. The normal backup, Evan Conley, we're being told, is battling with the little illness, little flu-like, cold-like illness, so he's not going to be in. And Quint Kesnick nailed the description of Doman. Said the dude's built like a fullback.
You see the stats there, 6'2", 225. Doman, a guy who's been all over the place. Started at Ventura College, went to Campbell University, didn't play, was a JUCO All-American at Independence Community College, and now finds himself at Louisville. So well-traveled. It's the first time most of us are getting a look at him playing ball.
To run to the outside. Jalen Mitchell still lowering some shoulders. That's 25, Jawar Jordan in the backfield. So Louisville getting in some players. The redshirt freshman at Chandler, Arizona. Look at him making the most of his opportunity.
That's a blow delivered, as you said, on the back end physical run. Jawar Jordan, a guy that was playing at Syracuse, decided to transfer, comes down to Louisville. Has not been a big contributor this season, but a guy with a lot of talent.
There's Jordan again. Look at the quicks out of Jordan to get to the outside.
And you can kind of tell out of that pistol set, the timing's a little bit off. It's not quite what we were seeing earlier, but the talent's there. I mean, Jawar Jordan at the beginning of last season was starting at running back for Syracuse, above a true freshman Sean Tucker. Now, Jordan got hurt, Tucker started taking carries, and the rest is history. But Jawar Jordan has some ability.
Along with Travion Cooley, we saw him earlier, the freshman Jalen Mitchell. He's a redshirt freshman. We've said it a couple of times in this broadcast, if this unit returns, I would look at Louisville among the favorites in the ACC next year of teams to watch based on what we've seen in the latter part of this season and what they have coming back.
Absolutely. And the improvement, like you mentioned the latter part of the season, the improvement that they've had, a lot of it's going to depend on who comes back at some of the teams in front of them. NC State, Wake Forest in particular. Honestly, it's tough to keep up with how much eligibility any of these guys have.
It's amazing.
Because of the COVID year. But Scott Satterfield let us know 11 of 11 on the offensive side of the football have the ability to come back for them.
Aiden Robbins now in the backfield for Louisville, and they give Robbins the carry. Let's check in with Quint.
Yeah, with the Cardinals going forward, you know, Malik Cunningham, 23 years old, but he does have one more season of eligibility left. I think 10 years ago, this is the type of quarterback and athlete that would declare and hit the NFL. He may even back out of a bowl game. But name, image, and likeness, NIL, gives him the ability to come back, pocket some money, and actually is a plus for college football that way. I think there's more of a likelihood that Malik Cunningham comes back because of NIL next year,
and Quint,
more than any.
That was one of the discussions around NIL when it first came up as he breaks through. Aiden Robbins for another touchdown for the Cardinals. 34-yard score. Now over 60 for Louisville. But with the NIL discussion, there are some that thought it would do just that. Perhaps keep a player around for an extra year because there is some money coming in, and we'll see if Malik is one of them.
Well, look, you drive around Louisville, and there are Malik Cunningham billboards already around Louisville using his name, image, and likeness to already support some of the businesses around Louisville. And meanwhile, the offense just keeps pouring it on.
There have been a lot of other thoughts on name, image, and likeness, but Quint brings up a good point. Can Malik be one of those positive? Make some money, hang around, build up that career. 62-22 Louisville.
Let's go.
Already has more Instagram followers than both of us.
Combined.
Flag on the play.
Stephanie, thank you for everything she's done for us this year and our crew.
There in the return, holding by number 26 on the return team. 10 yards penalty from the spot of the foul. Duke football, first down.
So Saturday, we'll have another giant game in the Big Ten. Number 7, Michigan State. College Game Day over on ESPN. That's a giant noon kickoff right there.
Massive, the biggest.
Yeah, Mel Tucker got his paycheck today after the rumored flirtations with LSU. In my next life, I'm coming back as Jimmy Sexton.
It's a good time to be a coach whose name's floated out there, man. Like that's a heck of a raise Mel Tucker got.
This is off, I think I read somewhere around $95 million. Just absolutely incredible, the money with this coaching cycle. A coaching cycle which, by the way, we haven't even started to see how crazy it's going to get. Because in any coaching opening, right now you've got Washington, Washington State, USC, LSU, TCU, Virginia Tech. You've got rumors around the rest of the country. When those jobs are occupied, there's going to be a trickle-down effect from the jobs that were left to occupy those jobs. And by the way, LSU, USC are big-time jobs. My guess is some big-time coaches are leaving some big-time programs to take those.
So what does the secondary market look like? And then what does the tertiary market look like after that? And who knows? I mean, there are rumors out there that you could have upwards of 20 to 25 FBS jobs come open.
That is ridiculous.
By the end of the year.
There's a look at the current job openings. A couple have already been filled. Texas Tech was filled by Joey McGuire, is a legendary coach out there in the high school ranks in DFW at Cedar Hill. That one's already been occupied. Georgia Southern occupied by Clay Helton. UConn occupied by Jim Mora. But there's a look at, I mean, I'll tell you right now, the job on that list that I believe is so under the radar that can be an absolute giant and has been in its history, Washington.
Yeah, I mean, it's had stretches where it's been as good as any program in the country, and even recently, like
Washington
football left.
They Rose Bowls, national championship back in the Don James era. You've got 2 plum jobs in the Pac-12 that are open.
You absolutely do, and then obviously there are the behemoths, USC, and which is always a sleeping giant, and LSU, who basically the past 3 coaches at LSU won a national championship.
I love placing coaches. Like, guess I would place an off-the-radar hire for Washington. I would call Kellen Moore, Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator. He's eventually going to want to be a head coach. He knows the area, is an offensive guy.
No head coaching experience.
No head coaching
Young
experience.
guy, that doesn't scare you away?
No, I think that would be a hire. Kalani Sitake's been mentioned there. And you know what name hasn't been mentioned for LSU?
No, because it seems like just about every name has.
Matt Campbell.
You are correct. I have not heard that name for LSU. He's always linked to, I mean, he's been linked to USC. He's always linked to any job in the Big Ten area, in that footprint.
Quinn, get in there. What do you want coaching?
Well, you got to know which agents are the linkers, because there's certain agents that's what they specialize in, leakage to newspapers' websites to boost value. But I was at Washington. I actually televised that last Jimmy Lake game. The key to Washington is going to be California recruiting. It's always been. Yep. Washington's been good. They've done well in California.
That's right.
Obviously, USC's got to win that area as well. But too many of those West Coast kids are coming east to the SEC and Big Ten lately.
Or to Oregon.
Yeah.
Kayvon Thibodeau.
There's one to watch. You bring up Oregon, and they've got a big one against Utah Saturday night, 7:30 Eastern, ABC. Mario Cristobal is a name. He's got college football playoff aspirations. As Scott Satterfield just got dumped with some Gatorade as Louisville is going to be bowl eligible. Mario Cristobal's name just keeps getting flirted with a job that's not even open. And I think that's one of my biggest problems with the coaching market right now.
Yeah.
Jobs that are still occupied being discussed as if they're open.
Miami doesn't even have an athletic director right now to make that decision. So, and I'm sure it's frustrating for those coaches as well. I mean, Mario Cristobal is in the middle of a run where his team's trying to get to the college football playoff.
That's I said it earlier in the season that the problem with some of these programs jumping so quick, Clay Helton in week 2, and jumping so quick to fire their coach, then other coaches who are currently in season have to defend themselves of, no, I'm not interested in said job. And it just creates a distraction for a team that didn't even ask for it.
You heard what Jimbo Fisher said earlier this week. I mean, I'd be silly to recruit all these. He's got a great recruiting class coming in. He's recruited well for ages. I'd be silly to go to LSU to have to play against these guys. But you're right about having to answer questions.
Counting down the clock here. Scott Van Pelt coming up next. Takes you inside Steph Curry's night in Cleveland. Patriots looking to make it 5 straight. Scott's going to dish out his Week 12 winners at SportsCenter. 30 seconds or so away from that. Hand the ball off to Scotty Van Pelt, who gets set for another busy weekend at night in sports. And that'll be the final snap of the game. Louisville came into this game wanting to be bowl eligible, and Malik Cunningham, sir, you have earned yourself a Thursday night helmet sticker. 527 total yards and 7 touchdowns.
Make that 2 helmets. Can I give out 1 too? I'm going to give it out to Malik Cunningham too. Let's fill that helmet up with stickers. All 2 of them. It's a great performance by Malik Cunningham in Louisville, certainly. Congratulations on bowl eligibility.
Jocelyn Meyer, our director, Pete Delaria, our producer, Quint Kessnick hopping in with us on a Thursday night. Roddy Jones, I'm Matt Berry. Hey, Thursday nights were fun this year. Let's do it again soon. Now to SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt.